So as far as the live-action Transformers movies are concerned, we are finding out now that from the news coming out of CinemaCon that the next live-action Transformers movie will be doing a crossover with A Real American Heroes. And on top of that, we have a little bit of more information as it pertains to the origin story that is being animated and coming out this year for the world of the Transformers as far as movies are concerned. And whether or not that's going to be good, well, we're going to look and see and find out whether or not we should be really excited about it or not. So without further ado, let's sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchase some merch. Links are in the description below. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk to you guys today about is something that I missed in my last news video, and that is the fact that both the Gamer Edition and Earthrise figures are being reissued, and all of the online retailers are going to be selling them, so I will have affiliate links for them if you do want to purchase those figures. It's just like one of those things where it's like, I think this is like really like the celebration of Optimus Prime. They're trying to release as many of them as they possibly can. Everything from Missing Link to Earthrise to this Gamer Edition one. And we know a Studio Series 86 figure is coming out. That's the one that I'm excited about. And to be quite honest with you, I'm really hearing you guys, so many fans have been saying that they should reissue the Armada Legacy figure for Optimus Prime, and I don't disagree. I think that that figure should absolutely be reissued for those who missed out on that one. I'm looking forward to the Studio Series 86, and I do wish that I was able to get the cartoon variant for the Missing Link figure, because it seems like all the orders for them sold out before I actually had the funds to be able to do that. But either way, I think this is good news for fans. Maybe, hopefully, there are more stuff, for people who really want to really expand their Optimus Prime collection as far as that is concerned. The other thing that we also know is that on April 25th at 11 a.m., Hasbro will be having another fan stream, and they're going to be talking about the crossover that they are doing with them for Megatron. We already have seen the Optimus figure, the Grimlock, the Bumblebee, and now they're doing Megatron. And the question is this a transforming Megatron? Or is this a, just a, like the Bumblebee figure, an action figure, just a robot, Robocen, with all of the voice from Frank Welker and everything? Because that's what they're doing. But if it does transform, it will be a tank, because that is just the way of the way, and in order to make it move as a robot is concerned. But I do think it's kind of cool. We'll see what it looks like. Hopefully it is an awesome looking robot. Now, the big news that's coming out of CinemaCon are two major things. First and foremost, Transformers 1 and the sequel to Rise of the Beasts are the news coming out for the two different movies. And the movie that's going to be coming out later this year is going to be called Transformers 1. It is going to be a prequel film where it kind of explains the origins of the Transformers and Optimus Prime and Megatron and all that, the Matrix of Leadership, at least as far as Paramount is concerned. And what we're finding from CinemaCon are things like this. You have these little action figurines. It looks like they're very similar to the War for Cybertron in design, except for the robot mode is probably most likely going to be, falling in line with the Bumblebee movie. And it seems to be what Optimus Prime is going to look like. This right here is a popcorn bucket. They did the same thing for Dune, where it was like this weird sandworm thing that you can stick your hand in order to get the popcorn out. They're doing the same for Optimus Prime. They're going to have a popcorn bucket. I wonder if it does the legs flip out in order to make a truck. It'd be kind of funny if it was a transforming popcorn bucket. Either way, I think it's kind of neat. Not necessarily something I'd be excited about, but as far as Transformers 1 is concerned, what we're finding out from all of the information coming from it is that we do have an all-star cast. Scarlett Johansson as Alita 1, and, you know, Optimus Prime is going to be played by Chris Hemsworth. And, you know, to me, I'm like, do we really need to have a star-studded cast in order to make a good Transformers movie? Or can we at least just get good voice actors, you know, who at least have an understanding of these characters? But we'll find out. I mean, that's what we're waiting for, is for the movie, more information to come out. And so CinemaCon actually did display some of the stuff. The talk is that the trailer is going to drop April 18th. So right now, currently, it's April 15th at the time of this recording. But here is what we know about the story so far. The story is all new, not tied to any previous movie, show, or game. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. It's an origin story for Optimus Prime and Megatron. They will be going by Orion, and D16 will be their names, and B127 will be Bumblebee. It starts with Optimus and Megatron making friends as Orion and D16, both worker-type bots who live completely underground on Cybertron as miners. Neither of them can transform. They connect with Bumblebee, B127, and the three attempt to escape upwards to the surface on Cybertron. They meet Elita 1, who wants to turn them in, and a visually impressive chase happens, including on top of a moving train in the sky. They eventually gain the ability to transform. Music from the Rolling Stones was played during the montage sequence. Faces are human-like, less robotic. Cybertron is vibrant, busy, and not war-torn. There is a lot of comedy going around, especially from Bumblebee. The clip caps out with them making it on top and seeing their first sunset. Bumblebee tries to get Elita 1 to join them. They are on a quest to find Sentinel Prime and the Matrix of Leadership. Chris Hemsworth is using an American accent for Optimus, not Optimus Prime. That's the news that's coming out so far. What we know about Transformers 1. The movie does come into theaters September 13th of this year, and we're going to finally see our first trailer, our first teaser footage. Now, I'm skeptical. I'm very, very skeptical on this. It could be a very good movie. We don't know. We don't know if it could be a very good movie or if it's just going to be, like, really terrible, because where are they pulling the source material from? Well, based upon this storyline, they're kind of merging a lot of different origin stories into one by making Optimus and Megatron minor friends. They're not doing Dion, they're not doing any of that from War Dawn, nor are they doing the aligned continuity stuff with the Archivist, Librarian, and Gladiator. They're doing something very different. So I'm curious as to where this movie is going to go, but at the same time, I'm like, I have every reason to be skeptical. Every single reason to be skeptical. This is going to be what? The 8th Transformers movie produced by Paramount? You're going to get a 9th movie that's going to be a sequel to Rise of the Beasts. And that movie is going to be a G.I. Joe crossover. So, again, a lot more reason to be skeptical. And I've heard people like sitting there going, I don't want G.I. Joe in my Transformers. And it's like, I get you, but at the same time, they've already laid the groundwork for it in Rise of the Beasts. And they're trying to get G.I. Joe to a place where it could be, you know, have its own universe and its own storytelling. But it seems that it needs the backdoor of Transformers in order to get back up to where it once was at a time. Now, for those of you who are unaware, and I should do a retrospective kind of thing on G.I. Joe and its connection to Transformers in the future, but G.I. Joe is very instrumental into the creation of the Transformers as a toy brand. Like, the original 12-inch figures for G.I. Joe, you know, they got imported into Japan, and they eventually took that molding and they shrunk it down to a 3 3/4 inch. I think it was a 3 3/4 inch. Yeah, they had the Henshin Cyborg or whatever, and then the sublines for that was all Microman. And then Microman eventually kind of, you know, splintered off into like having Micro Change, and then you had Diaclone. So there's a lot of interconnectivity between G.I. Joe and Takara's own toy manufacturing in order to make what was eventually became the Transformers. Then as far as the storyline is concerned, G.I. Joe again had a hand in the creation of the Transformers because Hasbro went to Marvel. And when they went to Marvel, they created a comic book, and then they eventually created a cartoon. and the toy line were all the 3 3/4 inch figures. So this way there would be interconnectivity with your, Star Wars figures at the time. And so what they decided to do from there is, well, this comic book and this cartoon is successful. Why don't we do the same thing with these robots? We'll go to Marvel. Marvel will help create the storyline. And they create, that's where Jim Shooter came in, Bob Budiansky came in, and created the story of the Transformers. And the G.I. Joe and the Transformers did have crossover. They had crossover in the comic books. There was light touches of crossover in the cartoon. At least the Transformers cartoon. Cobra Commander actually shows up in a Season 3 G1 episode. And, Marissa Fairborn is actually the daughter of Flint and Lady J. And that's direct from Flint Dille, as far as that storyline is concerned. So all those things are interconnected. But they've not done so in movies yet. The problem is that the G.I. Joe movies have not been as successful as they needed to be because, well, the only really good G.I. Joe movie of the 3 that have been produced is the second one with, Retaliation. And that's not saying it was the best movie. I'm just saying of the 3, that was the best one of the 3. The one with The Rock. Yes, they killed Duke in that movie. And yes, they did a lot of different things that I was not, happy about. But they did have Duke and Roadblock together. And they had, Zartan being the president, which is a whole nother discussion. But they also, did the silent interlude, which I think seeing that on screen was amazing. But that being said, was that movie great? No, it wasn't the greatest movie of all time. It was just, they were trying to do a good G.I. Joe movie. And then Snake Eyes was just god-awful. Forget about that. They ruined Snake Eyes out of that movie. But for those who are also unaware, the first Michael Bay Transformers movie started off as a G.I. Joe movie. And then they had to change that around, to Transformers because Transformers was going through a big surge of success thanks to the Unicron trilogy. The Unicron trilogy being a success, greenlit the live-action Transformers movies. And they said, okay, well, we'll go back to G1 and we'll make a G1 Transformers movie. And then they brought Michael Bay in and he said, G1 Transformers is stupid. I'll do it my own way. Lo and behold, we got the 2007 Michael Bay Transformers movie, and you can go from there. But that's where it all started. So G.I. Joe does have connections. And in fact, even if you look at Lennox, and I think it's Lennox and Gibbs or whatever, Tyrese Gibson and Josh Duhamel's characters are essentially Duke and Roadblock in the in the Transformers movies. And if you think about it that way, you may be able to see the connectivity that you can do a successful G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover if done right. But can it be done right? I don't know. And I'm skeptical. I'm just as skeptical with Transformers 1. I'm skeptical with these movies. And I understand that there are fans of each of them. There are fans of the movies. There are fans of Transformers movies, the G.I. Joe movies. Old school G.I. Joe fans are hardcore G.I. Joe fans. And then you have the hardcore Transformers fans. You have ones that are old school like myself. And either way, I want to see a good movie. I'm no longer connected continuity-wise to these movies. I look at it like this is even Paramount themselves, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura has come out directly and stated that oh, you don't understand why The Last Knight and Rise of the Beast connects? It just does. That's his eyes. In his eyes, despite the fact that Unicron exists outside of Earth, and then Earth is Unicron in The Last Knight, I don't know, man. They themselves look at the movies as you're not supposed to think about how it works continuity-wise. You're not. You're just supposed to go to the movie and just know, okay, this one's a sequel to that one. Okay, this one's a sequel to that one. And just look at it that way. Okay. If they're not going to care, I'm not going to care. I'll just hope for a good movie. And I can't expect much out of them anymore. I can't expect something that actually, cares about the source material. They don't care about the source material. They don't even care about their own movie's continuity. So, and I'm laughing about it. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm just hoping for a good movie. We need good entertainment. We haven't had good entertainment outside of like Godzilla and the Mario movie and things of that nature. You know, we need good entertainment when it comes down to it. Something that we can just sit back and enjoy. And I'm hoping that something like this for a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover is good. If you've not read the Skybound comics, those are excellent. Those are absolutely excellent. And I think that if you're missing out on those comics, G.I. Joe and Transformers in those comic books are great. Just, yes, they're violent. They're gritty. They're robots getting blasted to pieces. Yes, G.I. Joe is dealing with a lot of bloody stuff happening too. I mean, it's crazy. Like, the origin of Cobra Commander is nuts. So I just highly recommend going and picking up those comic books. But can a movie like this be good? Sure. Will it? I don't know. We'll see. I want to know what you guys think about this news. Are you excited to hear that G.I. Joe is crossing over with Transformers? Are you excited about Transformers 1? And are you looking forward to something like, the RoboSen figure? Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.